Okay. Oh. Got it.
Let me turn that on.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to start in just a few minutes. We're just going to see if we have anyone else joining us. So just give us a few more minutes and we will have our conversation for tonight with the amazing Marshawn Frencha. So get your beverages ready and your pen and paper because we're going to dive deep. Oh, maybe that's it. What is that? Can you turn it?
Yeah, let me turn it off. Give me 1 second.
That will mess us up. Okay, and then when it goes to the live on Facebook, you can grab that and share it to your page.
Okay, perfect. Let me get ready to do that. And just turned it on. One second.
Just a few more minutes. Did it come on there?
On Facebook, yeah, I see it. I see it on the right-hand corner.
It's 7:05, we're going to start.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for day 5 of Ignite Your Soul Connection. This season, we are talking about the power of yin. Now, if you've been with us all week, and even if you haven't, we have had some amazing conversations. On Sunday, we started out with Kiana and Oseritan talking about life expressed. And remember, we're speaking about how yin energy flows. So yin is an expressive energy. And that's why it's creative. And that's why you hear people say, if you give something to a woman, she's going to multiply it. That's life expressed, right? And then on day 2, we had an amazing conversation about finding your flow. And that was with Tanisha Legault and Martin Grant. And they gave some wonderful tools and examples of how you can actually flow in your life and just allow things to happen, right? And then on Wednesday, we had an amazing conversation with 3 powerful Master Force coaches. A lot of yin. I think we had all yin that night, right? That was with Alanda from Iowa and Coach Iris from Aurora, Arizona, and then our very own Mother Mecca from Chicago. And then last night, we got to have that yin and yang combination again with Dr. Tammy coming into us from Atlanta and Tashi from Chicago. So we have just been filled with balance and intrigue all night as we have delved into the conversation of the power of yin. And what we've discovered is that yin in its dark place, right? In its darkness. And dark doesn't mean bad. What it means is behind the scenes, right? You need dark to grow your seeds. Everybody puts the seed in the ground and covers it up. In order for it to find the light, it has to push through, right? It has to first break up and break down. And that's what yin energy is. It produces chaos before it creates. So we allow that to happen. And we want you to really, if you didn't get a chance to be with us live, all of those discussions are on our YouTube channel with the same name, Ignite Your Soul Connection, or you can visit our Facebook page, Ignite Your Soul Connection, and find those videos as well. And we want you to know we started doing this 10 years ago. This is our 10-year anniversary. And we are excited to be able to bring this to you freely, right? We don't ask you for, I should say, at no cost to you, because it's not free, because you do have to spend your time, energy, and attention to draw down this information that we're sharing with you, okay? So tonight, I am excited. Oh, did I tell you who I was? My name is Mushim Sut or Rita Stewart. I am the founder of Master Force and the owner of Master Force, actually, and the founder of Master Force International Leadership Academy. We teach online classes. We've been online now for 10 years, but I have been doing Master Force for over 30 years now. So our curriculum is solid. We change lives, and we're grateful for the lives that have been influenced by this work. Okay, so now I am excited to bring to you our youngest thus far. I believe Marshawn did this course when he was either 16 or 17. He was our youngest Master Force life coach, and he came into this work, or he was introduced to this work by his mother, because she became a certified coach, and he saw what she was doing, and he started inquiring on his own and wanted to participate, and he paid his own way. So that's how serious he was at that time. And I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. And by the way, happy winter solstice. I sure hope that you guys are relaxing and enjoying this time and nurturing your soul. I surely hope that you are doing that. So now, Marshawn, will you please come in and introduce yourself to the people and let us know more about you?
Hi, everyone. Hello. Like Mama Moot so I call her. My name is Marshawn Frencha. I am the youngest Master Force life coach. Like she said, I got my certification when I was 17, going on 18.
Okay.
And yeah, I was doing that plus going out, finishing out high school. And yeah, I am a fitness enthusiast as of the last few months. I also am a stylist, fashion enthusiast, content creator. I also have my own podcast that you can find on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, called Frencha Full Circle. And we discuss sort of the topics and things that I learned through Master Force, just giving young people the knowledge and tools to help better and create their own life. We also tackle topics going on today that we see in the news. And yeah, and then in the next month or so, I'll be starting something called Full Circle Wellness. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're good. So Marshawn, right now, how long have you been a coach now? It's been a few years, isn't it?
I have been a coach since 2015.
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be 2024 in February. So yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And so the things that you learned in coaching, they've served you in our certification course. They've served you well in your life?
They have. It's so funny because it was like I was going through the course, and then when I entered adulthood, it was like I went through a depression, just was going through a lot of emotional self-esteem issues, and I just kept thinking like, dang, how do I get through this? And then it wasn't until I started seeing a therapist and talking to her, and she helped me to realize that, wow, I already had the tools. I just needed to apply them. So it's just been like constant reminder, not necessarily reminder, but constant
Probably
dedication.
confirmation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to apply the tools
Mm-hmm.
and making a constant effort to, just be better in my life so that I could be better to other people. Specifically, even this year, as some people saw, I went through a health, wellness, and fitness journey. Last year, I was 256 pounds. That was the heaviest I had ever been in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I turned 23, I had made the dedication to not necessarily just do the fitness part of releasing weight, but also do the spiritual and emotional part of releasing that as well.
That's wonderful. So now let me ask you, when you were going through and I know we haven't got on topic yet, but I think because this came up and there are other people that you can influence with your journey, as you were actually making the decision to take on releasing weight, right? Were you able to get to the core issue of where that weight came from in the first place?
I was able to get to that. I had discovered that in the past I did not do well with change. There were so many changes going on in my life that kind of like eating was kind of like that one thing that I could control. And so when everything else was not in my control, that was the one thing that I could control. And so it was that. And also I had to learn that I suffered from a lot of just a lot of like childhood trauma from seeing my parents get divorced, then just the feeling of going to school sometimes and feeling inadequate within myself. I don't know if I'm the only child that experienced this growing up, but you know, when you're going to school and adults bring it to your attention of like how you look or how you appear to other people, it kind of like gets you to like second guess yourself and kind of like question who you are and things like that. So yeah, that was the source of the weight. And also too, I discovered that I give so much of myself to everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
that me giving so much of myself was really killing myself. Like literally,
Yeah.
I went to the hospital for the last time last year, and when I went to the hospital, they were saying like, "Oh, we have to test you for high blood pressure, diabetes, and all these things." And I was like, Marshawn, I'm like, Marshawn, you are 23 years old. Like, why do you have all these issues? And so literally, it was just like that. It was just like, it was like an epiphany that happened. Like, Marshawn, you have to, if you don't do this, you're gonna die.
Well,
You're going,
and this is so wonderful, because one of the things that we like to say about the coaching is that that's an initiation, and you have to practice. You literally have to do the work yourself, because there's no magic pill, right? No one's gonna come and make you. No one's gonna rescue you. There's no hero. You literally, right? And that's what you were faced with, wasn't it?
yeah, I just like literally, like when I was going through the Kundalini class, and one of the things that you said that always stands out to me is that we want people to be independent, not codependent. And
Yeah.
so just really developing an individual, actually maturing an individual relationship with myself. I don't think before this I had like a true deep understanding and knowledge of like who Marshawn is. And so it just helped me to like hone in on who I am, um, I wouldn't say flaws, but things that make me who I am, and accepting those things. I think that was
Right.
another thing too, just always trying to like denounce those parts of myself that I don't like, and just fully stepping in and accepting that this is who I am, and this is who, all these things make me into being who I am today.
Now look at you. You've released that weight. You look fabulous. You look
Thank
absolutely
you. Thank
fabulous.
you.
And I believe this is probably your fourth time doing Ignite Your Soul Connection, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Could be 4 or 5. I mean, and I just want to acknowledge you for being someone that puts themselves out there, and showing us what it looks like to do the work. I wish I would have had this when I was, 23.
And not even that, it also speaks to what we're talking about tonight, surrendering. It's especially this year, I had to I made so many like decisions that were like when looking back on it, they could be scary, but literally just surrendering to the universe, the process, and just trusting in faith that that desire or whatever I'm wanting to achieve is going to happen on its own time.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that's good. That's a good segue for us to go ahead. Now, how would you define surrender? How would you, when people hear that surrender, you notice we don't have too many people talking with us tonight, because surrender is a very challenging. It has some juice on it, right? And most people don't want to hear or even deal with surrender. So let's start off by just a general definition of what would you say surrender is for yourself?
For me, surrender, I guess the best definition for me is almost like when you are in war and it's like the opposition, the opposing team is like they've just taken over, and you finally have to just give up and just, I wouldn't say accept what the fate may be, but just surrendering and accepting the fact to what is to come. And you don't necessarily know what is to come, but you're surrendering and you're trusting that there's a tomorrow. There's something to continue upon from.
Yeah, we just had a little glitch in your.
Oh, can you shut? Oh, I'll say it again. Yeah. It's just, to me, surrender is accepting truly, like, you don't know what is to come, but you're accepting, and you're content in what is now, and that there is something to come from tomorrow.
Yeah. But in this particular case, when we're talking about surrender, what or who are we surrendering to? What is that surrender about?
Oh, that's surrender. So with that surrender, for me, it's also that idea of, like we said, cultivating energy, cultivating things that we want, etc. It's almost like sometimes you have this desire for something and you want it so bad, and so it's almost like you sometimes become desperate to get that thing. And surrendering in that situation is just surrendering and trusting that, hey, you've done everything that you can to create the energy. Now it's just surrendering and letting go and trusting that whatever you desire is truly going to come in the time that it's meant to come.
So it's not a poor me type of surrender. It's not a, oh, I give up, I'm just gonna wither away. I don't hear that. Right? I don't hear.
Oh, no, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's not why can't this happen? Why can't this, why isn't this happening the way I wanted to? And surrendering is really just, you are letting go, and you are and this is also where I speak to sometimes when it comes with faith, and you're letting go in the unknown, that whatever, like I said, whatever you want, whatever you desire, whatever you want to make something happen, you just have to surrender. You just have to surrender and trust that things are always for your best outcome. Even when they don't seem like it, you're surrendering to that idea that you've done all you can, and that whatever you desire, whatever you want, it will happen.
Yeah, it sounds like it's inside of a conversation of learning how to be comfortable when there's a state of uncertainty, like what we're dealing with right now in our society, right? There's all of this, and instead of going to the negative side or into the side that makes us feel bad, we can actually choose to say, let me trust the process. Let me know. And for me, it's like, let me know that the universe, right, has my best interests, has the best interests available for all of us, trusting that process. And then you have people that want to control what's going on, and they'll do that and get what they want. But in this case, it's let me just step back.
Yeah, right? Taking a step back, literally, like I said, there's always, like you said, this uncertainty. There's always going to be an uncertainty in not knowing what's to come. But you're, like I said, you are, like you said, taking a step back and knowing that the universe, like you said, has your best outcome.
Now, I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but I'm going to ask it of you because I want us to actually make the distinction. Because how does society define surrender? Society doesn't define surrender the way that you just did. do you know the distinction between how your surrender has been defined and how other people define surrender?
From my own experience, surrender from a societal standpoint has always been, when you surrender, it's like you're just giving up. Like
Mhm.
there's no possibilities.
It's like
And
hopelessness, isn't it?
it's hopelessness. It's it's
Mhm.
it's 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 honestly fear, and
Mhm.
that society is always, especially with surrender, society is always putting out this idea that, when you almost don't get what you want, or when it doesn't happen the way you want it to,
Mhm.
then, it puts this constant idea of fear within you that you're never going to, like,
Yeah.
nothing is never going to happen your way.
Mhm. And so you begin your own cycle, downward cycle with that sense of hopelessness, you know. And then also when we talk about it in the power of yin, what you hear mostly is that men tend to think that women are supposed to be the surrenderer, right? Did you hear
Yeah,
that a lot?
men are supposed to be, like I said, like that yang. The men are supposed to always be in that control, and women are supposed to always, what they say, submit,
Mhm.
to certain beliefs and ideas within their relationships.
Yeah. Now, say more about that. Is there, what's the misnomer there in this conversation? So, because we're talking about yin actually being an energy that's available in both men and women, and that yin is a power that can be accessed by both, right?
It is, and I know it because I lived through it this entire year. How would I describe it? So I'm gonna put it in the best verbiage I know how to. Um, like you said, yin is an energy that can be tapped into by men and women. It's almost, synonymous with each other sometimes. And also too, what I see too is that a lot of men and women, they feel that they have to, it also goes with gender roles and submitting to what you have always been conditioned to be like. And so when you do, start to practice these ideas, it's almost like it's unfamiliar territory. So it almost pushes you to not trust in what is possible. But like you said, it's an energy that can be tapped in by men and women. Um, it's almost like how with your kundalini, with your vision, you have to, um, it's, especially with surrender. So this is what I'm trying to say. Especially with surrender and the yin energy, you can tap into it, and you have to put in that vision within yourself. And I'm just going to give my own testimony to best explain it.
Yeah.
So for me, this year, for the past 4 years, I worked at the same job for the past 4 years. And it was kind of towards the end of last year when we entered the age of Aquarius. And it was just this energy within me that I wanted something different, and um I wanted something different, but there was also that, fear that if I leave this what I'm comfortable with, that I'm going to struggle. And then also there's this idea that, um struggle can be a bad thing. And for me, looking back on the struggle was a good thing. And so I made the decision to, and mind you, I talked to my mother, I talked to my father. They kind of consulted me to not leave my job, and there was still this voice in the back of my mind saying, Marshawn, you have to, you got to do what you want to do. And
Mm.
so I made the decision to, and this is where we talk about surrender. So literally I stopped caring about it. I would go when I want to, stay home when I want to, but also trusting that there was something in the works behind the scenes, getting me to where I want to be. And so eventually I ended up making that decision they made the decision for me that they just let me go. And then it was from then on, it was like, okay, Marshawn, like, okay, they let you go. Now what are you going to do? And so I went through several months of just being at home and just thinking like, Marshawn, okay, what are your next steps? What do you have to do? And so I would be applying for jobs, just cultivating energy, just thinking about, Marshawn, okay, what is it that you really sitting down and getting clear? Okay, Marshawn, what do you really want to do? And what do you need to get there? And so I thought about it. I was like, okay, this is what I really want to do. And I'm going to put energy towards the things that I want to do. And so literally I thought about it and I wouldn't dwell on it. I wouldn't be upset that, I hadn't gotten to where I want to be at that moment. I just trusted and knew that there was something coming for me. And so I end up, it's just so crazy how the universe works. I have a friend who reached out to me and she thought I would be perfect for I did that. And so
Wait a
that
minute,
was
you broke
closer.
up.
That was
Hold on, you broke up a little bit. So we heard
okay.
I had a friend and she called. We don't know what she told you.
Okay, so I had a friend. She thought I would be perfect to be an art exhibition host. And so I was like, okay, that's getting me closer to what I really want to do, which is something with fashion, styling, putting together photo shoots, designing, etc. So it was that energy that getting me one step closer to what I really want to do. I did the art exhibition for a few months, and literally I was talking to my best friend, and he was just like, Marshawn, you should just apply for this job as a stylist through Nordstrom. And so I was like, okay, I'll apply for it. And so I applied for it. And normally, and also there's also with surrender, sometimes we're afraid to surrender because we always have this expectation of how things have gone in the past, that it's never going to be the outcome that you wanted to. So literally, I went on Indeed and I applied. I was like, okay, they're not gonna, I always apply through Indeed. They're never gonna call me back, but I just did it on the whim. A few days later, I got an email saying that they wanted to interview with me. And so I was like, okay. And so literally I'm at the job I'm at the art exhibition job, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm doing the interview for Nordstrom in the bathroom. And so I'm just like, okay, this is actually something, manifesting with this. Yeah. And then, I did the interview. I felt like I messed up, but I still trusted in that there was an energy, there was something happening bigger than I could even imagine at the time. And so literally I did the interview, and then she told me that she would call me back the next day, and then literally the next day she called me back and I got the offer to come on to be a stylist. And it was from there. So literally this entire year for me was just like we had talked about, in planning that vision, also with helping to surrender and getting what you want. You make the clear vision of what you want, you set the intention, and you put the energy towards that and what you want to do. And then literally you're surrendering, you're letting go that you've done everything you can and that something is going to happen for you the way it's meant to. It may not be in the time that you wanted to, but if you surrender and you have faith and you're setting your intentions out there and putting the energy towards that, it will manifest itself, and it will your creation of what you want will manifest before your very eyes. And
But
so,
you know, I can hear that in this process that you went through this year, that you got comfortable. You got very comfortable inside of a couple of things. You got comfortable with change, didn't you?
I did. I
So
never thought I would, but I
yeah.
did. It was like, and it was so crazy because before I left that job, I had managers, because I've been there for so long, and so I had managers putting the fear in me that, oh, you know, if you leave, you're not gonna get the money that you want, or you need to stay here, just be okay with what it is. And I was like, you know what, Marshawn, enough is enough.
Mhm.
And whatever, like I just felt it. I just felt it in me that, you know, if you make this decision and do what you really want to do, the outcome, there's nothing you can fear. The outcome will be the way you want it to.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I heard that actually was very expansive is that you took a stand for yourself and you believed in yourself. I mean, with your parents, with your job, with like, wait a minute, this is what I want. You did several things to say, I believe in me.
That's what it was. It was so crazy. I remember the day that I had took that stand against my manager, and I told my mom about it. She was like, Marshawn, you did what? And I was like, I did. And you know, she gave me counsel and what she would have thought, what she thought was best for me. But then you know what happened? A few months later, she had sent me a video of this guy, and he was being interviewed, and he was talking about how he wished that he was always doing what his parents told him to do and what everyone else told him to do. And the guy told him, he said, you know what? Do not listen to your parents, because if you listen to your parents, you're never going to truly do what you want to do. And you're never going to, you're always going to think about what could have been if you would have just, you know, took the leap of faith to, you know, do what you really want to do. You know, you could do anything.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I saw in expansion for you, is that you playing inside of uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't, you know, because parents will say, this is what parents say, you know, traditional parents. If you're going to quit your job, you have to have another job first. Right. And you were like, okay, but wait a minute, this ain't working. So,
and
yeah.
I was like, Mom, this is not working for me. I know this is something that I don't want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what's to come, but I know I just need to leave and let it go.
Yeah. So now if you look back, had you not learned to surrender, right? Where do you think that would have taken you? Because you did some radical changes this year inside of surrender, right? But you had to learn that. So who were you before you learned surrender?
It kind of speaks to my health journey, that I was someone who I knew I had vision, and I knew that I always wanted to do my own thing, but I was also helping everybody else, you know, cultivate their vision or do what they wanted to do, and never truly like putting the energy into myself and what I want to do for myself, really taking true self-care for myself. And just like, I want to say, like, this stagnant energy, like it's almost like you're reinforcing this idea of giving up on yourself. And it attributes to the weight, staying at that job, and that this idea that it's never gonna be more than this. Like you're always gonna be here. And so you kind of start to before this, I was someone who you stick to routine, and you kind of just, it's almost like you're going with the flow, but it's not something that you want
It's
to.
not your flow. It's somebody
Yeah,
else
exactly. It's somebody else's
doing
flow.
what you're told to do.
And that's also that sometimes what could be that Aquarius Virgo moon energy in me is that I like routine. And so the routine is, if I don't have that routine, it's almost like I go crazy. Like I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
But literally cultivating the energy towards my health and fitness, specifically the fitness part, was just taking time to give energy to myself and build on myself. And it's almost like when you're in the gym and you get that sense of that dopamine feeling when when you're pushing, and you just feel like this nirvana energy take over you, and it's just this energy in your brain, like, wow, anything is possible. Like I feel like I can conquer the world. I don't know what's against me, but I know that it is possible and that I can take it on. Just trusting that I have a goal, or I have something that I desire, or something that I truly want, that, if I continue to give energy and, build upon myself, that I can manifest and create anything.
Wow, that's amazing. So now, when you actually, because one of the things that I like to do in my own growth and development is, like, after I've gotten to a certain place, right? Like, okay, I got here. I've released the weight. I've healed myself. I've changed my life. I've manifested the job that I want. Now, then I would sit and say, how did I do that? Or how did that process work? Because now, if I know how this process works, I can go back and share it with others and tell them how to do it and take them through each step. So can you see for yourself what that process looked like for you to actually, because you made several changes.
Looking back, I would say like I said, there were many steps in the process of doing that. The first step was, and this comes specifically for if you're looking to change anything in your life. First, it was the step of making the decision that, okay, this is what I don't want, or this is what I don't like. And so you almost are making that declaration that this is what you're going to do. And this is where we talk about doing the work. So this is what you're going to do, and you're going to stick to it. The second step for me was consulting, and also just meditating and listening to my inner voice. Because sometimes, like I was telling my story, you have so many voices leading you in different directions of what they think you should do. And it's never really truly sometimes trusting in what you feel in your spirit is good for you.
But what I'm hearing you say, and it's really a very mature way of doing this, is that you talked to your parents, you got their input, you went to them and let them know what you were thinking, you received it, and then you went into meditation for yourself to begin to look to see, what is it that I truly want? What is it that I want here? And you made your decision or your choice from there, even considering what they said. Yeah, I can hear that. That's very powerful.
Yeah. And then the third step from that was actually making the changes and doing the work. And this is where I say with intention. So I set that intention, and like I said, I did the work. and this speaks to both experiences. So there would be moments where I would make a goal or reach a standpoint that I wanted, and then there would be something that would set me back. And
Yeah.
so from there, it was okay, Marshawn, this isn't you've reached a goal, but you also are having pushback with this goal. So what can we do to continue forward and keeping motivation in that goal?
Yeah.
And so from then it was going back to the drawing board and doing more work and doing more self-work with that. So it would be like I would reach a weight goal, and then I'd be like, Marshawn, you're gaining the weight back. So what are you not doing what are you doing that you weren't doing before? And so then I have to sit down and like do the work and be like, okay, Marshawn, why are you holding on to this? Why is it coming back? What are you feeling at that moment? And then go from there. And so I just made it that part. At first I was looking at it from the physical mental part, but I had to really sit down and like look at the emotional and spiritual part of it.
Yes.
Sometimes we want something that's tangible. And so I had to look at, the inner me and be like, okay, Marshawn, how are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? Why are you eating this? Why are you eating that? Where is this emotion coming from when you eat these things? Or, when you're working out, where is that coming from? So from there, it was doing that work. And so from there, I just continued to do that and doing check-ins with myself to see how I feel and what I want to do next. And so I just continue to give energy to that. But also, like I said, surrendering. When it's surrendering and just letting things be what they be. I was at this art exhibition job, and at first I really loved that job. And then over time, I didn't like that job. And so I just truly there would be days I wouldn't show up. There'd be days where I would come and I just wouldn't give it my best at that job. But I always knew that even with them coming to me and saying certain things, I still trusted that there was something working within me. Yeah. And so, but also, there was also a deadline with this job. So I'm like, okay, Marshawn, you're here right now, you're comfortable. And so, like I said, doing the work, setting the intention and the energy, and literally right before my lap, it was like, once it got closer and closer, I'm like, okay, Marshawn, what do you want to do? Like, you're not, and at that moment when I heard that, it was like August and the job was ending in November. And it was like, Marshawn, okay, what do it's getting closer. What are you going to do? But also trusting that, okay, there's something like whatever is coming next is going to be something substantial. And so from there, it was like I set the intention in the universe and I asked for it. And literally, it was like my best friend, he reached out to me. He sent me the application and he was like, Marshawn, okay, there's this job. I think you should apply for it. And I just went on the whim and, did it. And it just,
and it sounds like there was a part of you didn't think you were ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's literally what it was. And also it speaks to surrendering. And like I said, these checkpoints over the summer for me, I had caught COVID. And for me, it was like so many of us are looking at the physical part of that, but also for me, it was a very spiritual part in that. And this is when it came to this understanding that, Marshawn, you do not like change. And that when things change, you sometimes you just go haywire. You just act in ways that, aren't good for yourself. And so literally, that experience in itself just pushed me to trust in the unknown, surrendering to things that, you know, that are beyond me. Understanding that there's an energy when you surrender and you just let things be and let it be at a standstill, but also you're keeping that intention and that energy within yourself. It's like that slow vibration, and it just continues to what is the saying that I heard? It's when you love someone, it's like a very slow vibration. And when you fear something, it's like a very high vibration. It just goes crazy. And so, yeah, just.
It sounds like you are using surrender synonymous with trust.
Yeah.
Like there's this high level, like I'm going to just let go and trust that the highest good for my life is unfolding. And I don't have to resist it, and I don't have to fight it, and I don't have to fear it. You know, I'm just going to allow it to unfold.
I don't have to overcompensate or do all these extra things to reach it. I've set the intention, it's there. I just have to trust that it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. You know, you're tapping into quite a bit of what, because Kiana, you know, she spoke on Sunday night, similar about, you know, how if she didn't do the emotional work, she would just keep padding up and putting on weight. You know, that you have to do the emotional release. And when you do the emotional release, it does work with the rest of your body. It's like you synchronize, so to speak. And when you do the spiritual side of forgiveness and trusting and allowing, that too makes the process go a lot smoother. So
it really does. And it's so funny that you say that. I had an experience with a friend of mine's, and I noticed that through my journey, I was holding on to so much energy against him and like what he did to me.
mm-hmm.
And it was so funny that this is where we speak to giving energy to things. And it was like I gave energy to it, and literally I saw him, and we ended up speaking. And in that moment, it really showed me, like, especially with forgiveness, like I have to forgive for myself, because this person is going to continue moving, going with their life, or this situation, like things will continue to move on, but I have to forgive and surrender to the fact that it wasn't meant to happen differently. It happened the way it did. And now I'm making the choice to move on from it and be better to myself.
And so when you saw this friend, so that you could tell that you had fully forgiven them?
No, I didn't.
Mm.
At that moment, I didn't. I was like, you know, I, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to say this to this person, and, you know, I'm going to act this way. And literally they came to me, and it just expressed to me what it happened. And it just made me think, like, wow, Marshawn, you never truly know what's going on with people. But it also, too, it centered this idea within me, never to, moving forward, you never want to take things personal, even when it is, because what they're doing is it's not anything to you, it's everything with them. And that it's really not an attack on you. It's just something that they know within them to do when they're faced with these situations.
Yeah, and that's a very mature, Marshawn, because most of us do think that when people are they're taking care of themselves, and we think, oh, they're doing this to me, they're doing it. It has nothing at all to do with you. Their world could be crumbling, and they need whatever space they need to work with that. And sometimes people don't have the language or the time. If you have to go around and tell everybody, okay, this is what's going on with me, I'm gonna take some time out, you still not taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you do have to just like, okay, I have to let the whole world fall apart because I just can't play in it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And then you went back and you did the work, you said.
Yeah, I went back and did the work, and that was another part of like understanding of like how I hold on to weight, and just embedding emotions, and truly, like, how would I put it? It's like when you hold on to these things, they manifest in so many ways. And so for me, it was the weight, but also it was my skin. And I noticed that too when I didn't let go, or when I was trying to resist so much, my skin, my eczema would break out, and it would just go crazy. And my eczema was something that I struggled with since I was a child. And literally, as of like today, my skin is like the clearest it's been since I was 3 years old. Like it's truly like amazing just when you learn to like fully like letting go of things. And
Yeah, because eczema, the biggest example of stress is eczema.
yeah.
That's the biggest example of stress. So yeah, that's really, you can really see that you have come a long way. If that has cleared up, that's pretty good. Now
Yeah.
let me ask you, during this time, did you go through, before you got to the point of surrender, did you go through any bouts of depression or doubt or anything where you just, wanted to give up? Did you go through any of that?
I did. I want to say it was like I just when I it was like I'm just gonna give a timeline. So it was August of last year. That's when I first went back to my job. And then from then on until my birthday, I just found myself always upset and angry about going to this job and just doing things. And I was depressed because I was like, okay, Marshawn, it's like you're never going to fully get to where you want to be. And then as far as my weight, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I would always be disappointed in myself where I would start a journey, and then there would always be something to take me off of my square. And so it was kind of like this energy of just settling into Marshawn, this is what it's always gonna be. And so with that, I wanna say, and with that energy, it kind of manifested in different ways. It manifested in my relationships with people, and people, like I said, acting a certain way to me, and then my job, but then I had to realize that, okay, they are a reflection of the energy within myself and what I'm giving to myself. So what am I not giving to myself that I'm thinking that I need from these people?
That's wonderful. So you actually took the mirror work into the depths of what you were dealing with.
And so, yeah, and so literally I was like, okay, Marshawn, like I'm upset at what's going on. Like these people are doing things to me. They either betrayed a sense of my trust or disappointed me in a certain way, or they didn't act the way that I would act in a situation. And I had to fully sit down and think, Marshawn, okay, is this a relationship that I'm having with myself? And so literally I had to, like I said, it's doing the work and choosing and making the decision to do better for yourself. And then, like I said, cultivating that energy within yourself. And when you fully sit down and have that oneness with yourself, and it's going to manifest out to everything around you. And then there will be things that come up to further sometimes we think that they are tests or
They're challenging you.
challenge. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There are challenges that come along the way to further implement the teachings and the things that you are doing within yourself.
Yes. Yes, that is, and that's how we get more solid in what it is. And I remember when I be going through something, I say to the universe, give it all to me because I don't want to go through this. Teach me this lesson. Let me get it. Give me the full throttle. If I'm in pain, give me more pain so I can see it, so I can get it, because I don't want to do this again. And that sounds like what you were doing. You were like, let me look at all the places.
Yeah, it literally, like, it's almost like you don't even, you think it's so external with everything happening to you. And literally you actually sometimes are doing it to yourself. And so I want to say they are the wake-up calls, alerting you that, okay, this is what you're doing to yourself. So you need to change. You have to work to change this within yourself so that this won't manifest outwardly in front of you.
It sounded like you had to spend a good deal of time alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Becoming comfortable with solitude and being alone.
Mm-hmm. Was that hard for you too? Was that hard?
It was. But I've grown to love the alone time that I have with myself. Like I said, I was searching all outward. Well, let me not say I was searching. I would yearn for that energy of having people come or things come my way to complete me. And then when these situations did come, it was like I would ask for something, but then there was something else. It was like, okay, it's too good to be true. So then the situation would change, and then I was going into those situations doing what I always knew how to do to best deal with the situation. And so legally, it was for me making the decision to go understanding that there are infinite number of possibilities to handle these situations. So really, honestly, changing my expectation, letting go of expectations and disappointment, and becoming okay with what was happening to me.
Yes, that's beautiful. And now I want to go a little bit off topic, because for about 3 or 4 times you have mentioned the Kundalini course. So I want to just I want to distinguish that for our audience, because the magic of Kundalini is actually separate. It's a separate course from the life coach certification course. So it seems like you learned something in that Kundalini course that really did forward the change that you actually took on. Can you share a little bit of that?
Yeah, so within that course, my biggest takeaway was that we have visions of what we want to do and things that we want to accomplish and things that we want to happen in our lives, but we never truly know how to cultivate that energy and to make it into something tangible. And so for me, a lot of people, some people think of it as like that sexual energy, but for me, it was cultivating that energy within myself and truly speaking. Let me say, okay, let me further put that. But with that energy, I think that was the first time in a long time where I hadn't like always did like an ejaculation. And so it was like, I heard a saying before I did the course that when you do that so much, you actually are you're releasing that energy from yourself. You're releasing your essence.
Nutrients, yes.
You're releasing that. And so that was the first time that I had like truly like not done that and fully like fully like use that energy within myself. And then I realized that when I didn't do it, I felt more energetic. I felt my visions, my imagination was stronger, and just like it was like it was giving me that energy that I needed to create ideas, create content, just continue on my journey of health and fitness, etc. It just gave me that energy, and specifically with the meditations and things like that. It just like the one where you're sitting and you're thinking about your vision and you're tapping into your third eye, and like it was like, wow, anything, like I said, infinite number of possibilities, anything is possible.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm excited to hear that you use that, because the process and what you just described was sex transmutation, to take that energy of sexual stimulation, and instead of trying to find an outward expression for it, you actually cultivated it, but you allowed it to feed your vision, your imagination. You said, what is it am I creating? And you saw that, and you stayed inside of the meditation, and you let it build, and without that release. I love hearing that. We're gonna have to get together and co-teach a class.
I'm here to do it. I'm ready for it. Because it is crazy, because so many of my peers, like you said, we're looking for that outward experience. We just think that it's just a woo bam, thank you, ma'am. And there's so much that comes with that energy that we just don't understand. And so to fully understand it and use it, it was amazing. It was powerful.
Wow, that is wonderful. I just love hearing that. So now, what do you have any resources or anything that you would share with your audience that they could actually tap into, that would make a difference as they're going through or looking for ways to just trust and surrender and allow things to unfold for them? Do you have anything that you could, any direction or guidance you can give them?
Yes. One of the many practices that I tapped into more deeply within my journey was yoga. And so, a lot of my surrender and just trusting the process and everything, building that sense of trust within myself, was through yoga. So there is actually someone that I watch on YouTube, and the videos sometimes range from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, 5 minutes to an hour. Just taking that time within yourself. She's Yoga with Adrienne. And it was one of the many things I was introduced to through COVID that helped me build that oneness within myself as far as my surrender. And another one that I tapped back into, I was using it before the pandemic, and then I started back using it this year with my journey, was Iyanla Van Zant's Acts of Faith.
Yeah. That's one of your favorite go-tos.
One of my favorite go-tos. Another one that I was using was, and this was just vision boards. Also, meditation was another tool that I was using. Another tool that I used too as well was, there was another one. There's actually a show where there's a coach. Basically, you have these fitness coaches, they come along with they have clients. And
Mhm.
for example, say the client is 200 pounds, that coach will actually gain weight and do the work with the client to release that weight. And that was one of my tools to keep me going, was trusting. Like, there were so many clients that you would see and they would like get to a goal, like I said, get to a goal, and then because they're trying so hard to get to that goal, then they would mess up and give up. And that was one of the tools that I use. But
Now, is this on YouTube also?
it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. I'll find, once I find the name of the show, I will send it to you. But yeah, it's a show on YouTube, and it was one of the most remarkable things that I looked into um, with that. Yeah, those would be my tools. Yeah.
That's great. So we have the yoga on YouTube, Acts of Faith with Ayana Banzan, creating vision boards, which is one of my favorite things to do. I create vision boards all year long, and then meditation is my daily go-to, and then coaching on fitness. That's really great.
And journaling was one of the biggest tools that I used too. Like I said, sitting with yourself and truly like understanding your habits and why you do certain things, and just using journaling as a practice to cultivate energy as well.
Wonderful. Now, are you offering service right now? So wait a minute. What's your job at Nordstrom, right? So do you go into work?
I do. I styling there. I do have clients through Nordstrom as well that I do online styling with.
So did they take you to training, or you just brought your own expertise with you?
Oh, so I had literally, I did the phone interview, and she could hear the expertise that I had with me, and so I used that expertise to get the job. And
Right.
There was a little training, but there was like very little training as far as like operations and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's been my own expertise.
Oh, that is so exciting. So so your clients, are they more in the style, or are you offering services right now for coaching or support? What are your...
I do offer, I do tarot and love card readings. I also offer a lot of my tools and things through my podcast. The podcast is Frencha Full Circle. And yeah, that's where I'm offering my services right now. If anyone wants to reach out to me, they can reach out to me through my Instagram, Shawn Frencha, SHAWNFRENCHA, on Instagram. And then through the podcast, they can reach out to me through Frencha Full Circle Podcast on Instagram as well.
Wonderful. Oh, that is so exciting. So let me ask you, as we come to the end of this conversation, what would you say are the 3 things that you want people to take away? How would you summarize this and have people really this is really what I want you to hold on to after you listen to this conversation?
Well, my 3 takeaways that I want people to hold on to for this conversation is being okay with uncertainty. I know there are things that we sometimes feel like we can control all the time, and literally life will happen and it will show you that it's not always in control. And so literally you have to trust. Like I said, that was the biggest thing for me too, trusting that there's something bigger beyond who you are, and that is working in your best interest. my second would be setting that intention. If you set that intention out into the universe and you continue to do the work and create the energy behind it, it goes into that surrendering as well, and just doing the self check-ins with yourself to continue on, so that when you do get this, when you are presented with what you wanted, you are actually ready for it. Sometimes, so many of us, we want something and we think we're ready for it, and then because we so ready to get it, then we get it sometimes and we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, because we haven't, and sometimes people don't realize that part of the process of waiting or learning to be patient or allowing things to unfold is to prepare you to sustain what you're asking for. It's like somebody, people, I want a new car. I want, and you don't even know how to drive. You don't even have a driver's license. Yeah, but I want the car. So now when you get the car, it's going to sit out there because you still have to catch up to it. Right. So, yeah. Or you drive it and crash it because you haven't had enough, experience. So yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so many, like I said, so many of us, we want something so bad, and we honestly aren't even ready to receive what it is. And so literally, like you said, we're just trusting that whatever is meant to come in that time is going to come when it is meant to. It's almost like when you see your show, when you see your favorite show, and the hero, they think they're ready to conquer this beast, conquer this monster, and then things will happen that will show them that they're not ready at all.
And if you keep going like that, you're gonna get squashed.
Exactly. Things will happen that will show you that you're not ready and that you weren't prepared. And so then when you surrender and you just let things be, and emotionally, spiritually doing the work to prepare yourself, when you are faced with whatever this beast is or whatever you want, it will happen.
Yeah. Okay, so you said be okay with uncertainty, set your intentions, and what was your third one?
The third one was doing check-ins with yourself so that you can finally be, when you are presented with it, you'll be ready for it.
Yes. Check in with yourself. Yeah, because most people don't realize that being able to expand our capacity to hold more, right? Most of us have lived in a shell. We don't even realize that we've lived in a shell. And so when you allow yourself, and that's what you've been doing, you've expanded. I mean, let me tell you, this being a stylist at Nordstrom is kind of like an elitist job. I don't know if you know that. You do know that, right? I remember back in the day, that was the thing, so of course
it speaks to like literally this year and these past few years have been preparing me for, this is something that I want to do. And literally now I literally enjoy what I do. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy everything about my job. So yeah, literally it prepared me for today. So
now I want you to know that your kitty, what's your kitty's name?
Oh, Blossom.
Blossom has taken down your lights.
I just noticed it. Blossom
is like, oh, well, my puppy is not paying attention to me. Let me do something.
Blossom, Blue, and Goggles, and yeah, they all are sisters. So yeah.
So it's 3 of them in that room right now.
It's actually 6.
And so they're just having a field day while you on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's not gonna bother us. Let's just terrorize this place. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with? I just really thank you for your time, your energy, your attention, and for being someone that always says, "Move, I'm here, I'm available." Let me share. That's really great. I'm glad that you do that because we have a lot of young people that really do need to hear your voice.
No, and I know and that's one of the things that I came clear about specifically this year with so many people reaching out to me about my journey and what I did and what they could do. And
Mhm.
especially over the last 2 years, I've come to the realization that it's part of my journey to help people and that
Mhm.
I'm to be able to help everybody, but I know that my voice, that when it does reach certain people, they can connect with what I'm saying and who I am and what I do, that it will make an impact in their life.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I operate on the theory of one. I'm not the person that want to be an Oprah or a Diana. It's like if you can reach one person and that one person, their life can be changed and you can make a difference for them, you've actually made a difference for a family, a community. And then when you've made a difference for that family and community, you've now made a difference for society. So you don't have to be famous to do that.
yeah, not at all, not at all. I know
Mhm.
that I'm meant to reach who I'm meant to reach, and
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. I just there's no yearning to, like you said, be this voice of the people. It's just I know that my tribe, if I touch them, that it will do something. So yeah.
Here's a comment from one of the coaches, Amanda. She said, I had a favorite stylist at Marshall Field. And he said he styled me when I visited him in the men's department. But do
I
you have, and so are you in the men's department?
I'm in women's shoes, but literally I've had people take me throughout the entire store building outfits and
Yes.
doing things. And yeah, it was so funny. I had a lady, we started in women's shoes and we picked out the shoes and then we ended up in women's clothing to pick out an outfit. And literally it turned into like it was like the universe's way of telling me to keep doing what you're doing. She's
Mm.
wisdom into me, and I knew that, like I said, this is one of the things that I'm supposed to do. This is what I was called to do, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Well, that is wonderful. That is so good to hear. And I'm not a Nordstrom shopper, but I may just come see you just because you're there just to say hi. So
Please do.
yes.
Please
Yes.
too. Oh, we can go to Just Salad and get some avocado toast.
Oh, so that's not too far from you. So
Oh,
you're
it's right
downtown? You're
It's
downtown?
I'm downtown. I'm right in the mall on Michigan Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's always talking about me about what I eat for lunch because I eat the same thing. I
Gotta
eat
go.
I get I go to Panda Express, I get my super greens, my chicken and my rice, and I get my strawberry breeze smoothie, and that's what I eat every day. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, Marshawn, why do you eat that every day?" I'm like, this is part of my self care, what I do for myself. So yeah.
And you're getting all your nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, Marshawn. I just can't say enough for, I feel like a proud mama bear on so many levels. And at the same time, I appreciate your surrender to the work because you wouldn't be here if you weren't doing the work.
No,
so thank you.
thank you. Like I am so grateful for you. You've been one of the many elders, adults that have helped me cultivate me along my journey to where I am now. And I have a lot of moments where I sit and think about, a lot of the people that I've encountered in my life, and I'm just so I'm grateful that you are one of those people. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I love your whole family. So give my love to your sister, your mom, and your dad. And
I will. I truly will. I will be calling my mom after this because we have to discuss Sex in the City. So
the new one. Okay.
We had a discussion earlier this week about the past 3 episodes. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't watch the first series, and I doubt if I watched this one, but enjoy it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to end the recording, but I want you to stay on so that we can debrief. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Everyone, I just want to thank you so much for joining us. We will have our final session number 6 tomorrow, where we will be with Nin Ushayas Ray, and Robert Nixon, and we will be talking about inner stand to understand inside of the power of yin. Now, we have had a fabulous week. And if you did not get a chance to see all of be live with us with all of the sessions, remember that they're on YouTube, Ignite Your Soul Connection. And then they're also on our Facebook page, Ignite Your Soul Connection. So you can go back and look at them. All right. And if you need to get in touch with me, I am Mushim Soot Transformation Life Coach on YouTube. I'm Mushim Soot on Instagram, and I'm Mushim Soot on LinkedIn. I'm also Master Force Leadership Academy on both LinkedIn and Facebook. All right. So we look forward to our final show with you tomorrow night, and we thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.